And we're live.
Hello, D&D friends, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 15 of Holy Rollerz, the D&D show about the Divine Fellowship, an alliance of clerics and paladins battling a conspiracy between an archfey, a fallen archangel, and a demon goddess. And now for some brief introductions, beginning with JT, who we are glad to have back with us.
Good to be back. I'm JT, recently returned from the happiest place on earth. Still feeling a little bit of that happiness despite the cold weather.
We'll see what we can do about that.
Well, my character lends itself to the exact opposite. I play Anduriel. He is the vampire cleric of Naylock, the god of night and of vengeance.
I'm Ryan. I play Lachlan Dulay. He is the bard paladin of Sindel, the goddess of love and truth.
I'm Jeff. I play Gizik. He's not a good witch. And I follow Sigrun, the goddess of hags and runes.
Very good. And Ben will be joining us shortly. Ben plays Morokhan, the cleric monk of Hemina. He is at a family function and will be joining us as soon as he possibly can. And he will not be punished for being late. No, he will not. And so we will wait for that. And I am Sage of Sorcery, your humble dungeon master and Ginger.
Hooray.
And we will go ahead and start with a little recap here. So last time on Holy Rollerz, the Hallowed Council were drawn into the demiplane of dreams, where they were forced to battle against the minions of the Archfey, the Piper, and Shykraz, the goddess of nightmares, who was revealed to finally be the third member of the conspiracy. After defeating their minions, Shykraz attempted to kill the priests with a vicious psychic hate in revenge, but she was held at bay by Nombulus, the demigod of dreams. Nombulus held off Shykraz as long as he could, asking Lachlan if he was willing to make a sacrifice in order to be able to sustain that. Long enough for the Piper's daughters to offer the party a deal. His daughters, the Piper's daughters, Madrigal, Vanamira, and Agrundi, proposed a deal. They would grant access to their father safely at the right time in exchange for a proposal of marriage, which Morokhan accepted on behalf of Anduriel, who is slowly but surely turning into a fey creature because of the deal he made with the Piper. And that is where we begin, ladies and gentlemen. So you awaken from this terrible nightmare, and you do so that evening, the evening that you were planning on heading to the real Tipsy Chimera Inn, which you thought you had arrived at, only to find out that it was a nightmare, a construct of the goddess Shykraz. And you all wake up in your beds having had this rather vivid dream. What would you like to do next? And you can't go to Disneyland. You were already there, JT.
Is it day or is it still night?
No, it's night. You all remember that you were going to take a long rest in the middle of the day so that you would be fully refreshed and ready, and have all of your spell slots and whatnot. For that evening, not knowing what you would encounter when you went to meet Night Lady Devois at the Tipsy Chimera in the Coins District, where she is wont to be most evenings. However, you have awakened after that, having suffered the damage you suffered, all as psychic damage. And therefore, you awaken fairly obvious that what happened really happened, and that it was not a mistake of any kind.
Do we still count as having had an extended rest?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
You have all of your spell slot, all of your encounter powers and your dailies and all of your hit points back, and all of your healing surges.
It's just going to be like one of those headache days, right? That you slept, but you didn't really, love
well,
it.
It's like when you have a nightmare all the way up until the moment when your alarm goes off and you don't really feel like your sleep was restful because of the trauma to your psyche, which is exactly what happened. And so you find yourself there.
I get up and are we in the same room?
You are in the rooms that you were assigned in the upper left wing of the Abbey of Ardor.
Okay. I get dressed and I go knock on I just go knock on each of my companion's door.
Okay. So, Lachlan, as you get up from the bed, rather traumatized, I don't imagine you gather your gear or whatnot, dress yourself. I don't know if you slept in your armor. I imagine you probably didn't. But you get up and get ready.
In just silk undies. Yeah.
Okay. You become instantly aware as you head for the door of a very old man and a very familiar looking man, a man who actually appears translucent to you, sitting in the chair in the corner of your room, leaning heavily on a staff. And his head is kind of down like this, and he says, "You'll have to forgive me. She fair knocked the wind out of me." And then he looks up at you, and he looks haggard and exhausted, almost as though he were on death's door. And he looks up at you, Lachlan, and he says, "Are you prepared to pay the price for the boon you were just granted?"
I hope so.
Okay. Lachlan, you blink, and all of a sudden, instead of an old human man in gray robes on a staff with a long beard, you are staring at an old halfling woman with her hair up in a bun, leaning over on a cane that has a pommel carved into the shape of a large moon and stars going down it. And the old halfling woman is sitting exactly where the old man was, the old human man, and it's just as translucent. And she gets up and she says, "Very well," and starts moving towards you. And she reaches out her hand like this.
As in offering her hand to me?
That's what it would seem.
I'll try and take it.
Okay. She takes your hand gently, but in a grip that feels like she pumps iron all day long. Like her strength is unearthly, and she just kind of pulls you down. You blink again, and now you're staring at an older dragonborn with silver dragon nails, except they're dull in color, and still wearing that same robe. And you're not sure what gender it is. You think it's probably male, but you have to make a knowledge nature check to know for sure, or have an awkward experience, one of the two. But the Dragonborn is much taller than you now, and you find yourself looking up, and he pulls you forward, and you begin to feel energy drain out of you slowly. And as the energy drains out of you, he becomes more corporeal, and the translucence state begins to gradually fade away as you grow slightly weaker, and you lose 2 healing surges permanently. That's right. Permanently. How many healing surges does that bring you to?
9.
Oh no, whatever shall you do? For those of you who may not be familiar with 4th edition rules, healing
11?
healing surges are they're like hit dice. You can spend healing surges when you are able to access a power or during a long rest in order to heal. So you lose 2 of them permanently, and then that figure becomes corporeal, and you kind of stagger and you blink again, and you find yourself standing next to, this time, an older but very much rejuvenated looking elven woman. And she says, "You might want to sit down on your bed. I believe it'll take you a moment to recover from that, but I think you'll be glad that you made the sacrifice that you did. Because you see, Shykraz has erred. In attempting to kill you and the members of your fellowship, she has broken divine law, and therefore we may offer you a boon in return. Tonight, this night, you will be awakened in order to be able to find your way to the Archfey whose covenant plagues your vampire friend. Should you play your cards right, you may be able to take one of the members of the triad out this very evening, if you are wise. It is all that I can offer you, but it is certainly of worth.
Thank you.
He says, should you choose to spend your boon this way, will you accept the wisdom of the gods matter, or will you choose something else?
I can always use the wisdom of the gods.
Smart lad. Okay. All right. You blink your eyes again, and you find yourself looking this time at an older dwarven gentleman with a short gray beard, still looking quite old, but nevertheless resembling very rejuvenated, excuse me. And he says, very well. He reaches up and touches your forehead, and you feel a burst of energy go through your whole body. And it's at that point that you begin to hear music faintly, a very, very faint violin or fiddle music you hear. And he looks up at you and he says, follow the song. Follow the song, and you may strike a crippling blow against our enemy this night. And he looks up at you and he says, you are doing well, child.
Thank you. I doubt we would have survived without your intervention.
No, you most certainly would have died, which would have been a great sacrifice and tipped the balance in our favor in other ways. But we have faith in you, even as you have faith in us. We believe that you will win the day. Good luck.
The confidence I need.
Okay. And he turns to reach for the door and opens the door. And as he touches the door handle, you look down, and suddenly you are looking at the body of an older goblin woman with longer hair, but not looking quite so scraggly, bound back into a braid that kind of falls over the side. And the little goblin woman looks at you, nods her head, steps through the door, and vanishes completely, as though stepping through the doorway had somehow been a doorway elsewhere. And you feel yourself drained, but that music of that song is playing through your head rather easily, shall we say. It's not loud yet, but it's definite. It almost feels like you own it, as though if you were to concentrate on it, you would be able to amplify it.
Okay. Well, now I'm going to go knock on some doors.
Okay. All right. Meanwhile, while he's having this exchange, Anduriel and Gizik, what are you guys doing?
I think Anduriel's just sort of rousing and trying to take in what happened. I think the first thing is like, I absolutely loathe this mental garbage. Can't you just come out and fight directly? This is ridiculous. So he's kind of grumpy about that. Foolish dragonite. So he's just going to get up and go find Lachlan and Gizik and Morkan.
Okay.
Yeah, Gizik's gonna get up out of bed, pace around a bit, think about going to the kitchen to get some Jello. Some more Jello.
Rethinking it, maybe it doesn't sound so good. It's not sure.
Maybe this time it will be without soggy pretzels in it.
Well, then what even is it if it doesn't have sake?
Okay. All right. So you go to find Lachlan. Lachlan, what do you tell them? You are all now assembled in the entryway or the parlor of the Abbey of Ardor.
Okay. Well, that was harrowing. But I just had a wonderful conversation with Nombulus. Apparently, the sacrifice, which has left me weaker, has also allowed me to hear music, I'm guessing from the Piper's realm, that we can follow to take care of Anduriel's little blood issue. And frankly, I think that I don't really want to go to the Tipsy Chimera again, even if it wasn't real. So I say we follow the music and get this business with the Piper settled. He said we could deal a crippling blow and maybe take one of these 3 players off the board if we play our cards right tonight. What do you say?
As long as I really get to sink my dagger into someone, I'm game.
Okay. All right, Lachlan, do you follow the music then?
Follow the music.
Okay. So you follow the music, and it leads you out of the bulwark. If you remember that area where the Vanguard Fortress with the Trilord, and also the Halls of Healing, the Great Temple, the Halls of Protection, the Great Temple of Vestera. So it leads you kind of out of this more city kind of official district, and it leads you through the city along the highway, down and around and narrow places. And as you listen, the music becomes louder and it becomes easier to follow, and it becomes more persistent. And you realize that you're listening to a jig or a reel of some kind, and the music is becoming more and more insistent, and it takes on a mournful sound. And then, Lachlan, as you make your way out of the bulwark and into the coins district, you begin to hear a weeping. And the weeping sound it's in the same direction as the music, and it carries aloft through the city as though someone were yelling, and it was echoing through the alleys of the coins district. And as you make your way there, you realize you're heading in the same direction. And then
The same direction as the Tipsy Chimera?
As the music.
Oh, as the music.
And the two sounds are almost at war with each other, the weeping sound and the music. And I would like you to make a perception check to see what you can tell about the weeping. You are muted, Ryan.
That's only a 13.
It's only a 13, you say. Well, all I will tell you is that you are reasonably sure that the weeping is coming from a male. It's a tenor voice, but it's male.
As soon as I start to hear the weeping, I will say, I'll let the party know there's more than music. There's weeping. And then if I as I recognize it as a male, it sounds as if a male is weeping, like an adult male or like a little boy.
Well, as I said, it's a tenor voice. It's a higher pitch, but it is male. You can't really tell more than that. Unfortunately, your check wasn't high enough.
Okay.
And you find yourself coming to this alleyway in particular, smack dab next to that carriage that was left out. And it's next to these two buildings. You see a clothesline there. There's a little garden there. There's a couple of different, what looks to be houses, perhaps. And they're tiered so that you have to walk up some steps and a little embankment on both sides to leave the street and reach any of these houses. And so, Lachlan, you become aware that the weeping and the music are both coming from that house that is in square 7K. It's like it is as though the sound is right in front of you.
And we're
but
on
you
the street.
see, you're on the street and you see nothing.
So does it sound like it's coming like behind a barrier, as if it's in the house, or as if it's right in front of the house?
No, it sounds as though it were coming from that roof in the square that I gave you, from up on the rooftop.
Okay. I don't see anything. Do any of you see anything? It seems like the music's coming right from that roof.
Everybody make a perception check, please, because neither Gizik nor Anduriel hear any music.
20.
21.
Okay. Gizik and Anduriel, you look up to where Lachlan is indicating, and you catch the slightest bit of dust or disturbance on top of there. You hear the groan of wood or see stone shift. There's as though there was something stepping on the roof, unsettling it just slightly. But it could be a pigeon. But there is something up there that is weighting it down or moving it.
Well, Lachlan, I can't see anything, but maybe there is something there. I can't say. Is the music still coming from the same place as the weeping?
Yes, I mean Yes, it's as if they're both coming from right up there.
So
Okay, Lachlan, the weeping stops very suddenly. The music continues.
And I say, the weeping has just stopped. The music is continuing. But...
Lachlan, you say that, and you hear a voice say, Thou canst hear me.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you come down from there?
Lachlan, suddenly, to your sight, is revealed quite the vision in front of you. On top of the roof, you see an elegant carriage that looks to be constructed from green crystal, and it is led by a swarm of fairy dragons that don't actually seem to be physically connected to the wagon by any visible tether, and yet their motions as they fly about are jostling it slightly. Standing in the driver's seat of the carriage is a 7-foot-tall, green-skinned fey knight with 2 antennae and colorful bug eyes, dressed in green chitinous armor. He wears a tall golden crown and a forest green cloak with a high back like Dracula. And it's so long that it drapes down past the back of the carriage he's standing in to lightly touch the floor.
And is he the speaker?
Yep. And it almost as though the dust had blown off of him, he becomes visible to your eyes. And he looks at you and says, Thou canst hear me truly.
Yes, I can. I can see you now too. Who are you?
I am the Green Man, lover of kindness and giver of gifts to the mortal races. Behold my box of wishes. And he pulls back his cloak, and you see there's a box strapped across his chest, and it looks to be a ornately carved wooden box with a diamond carved in, embedded into the side and into the top. And he says, and my emerald carriage. Know you not who the Green Man is, mortal?
Do I know?
Would you like to make a knowledge arcana check or a knowledge history check or history arcana? Everyone can make it.
Can we hear this boy too then?
You do now.
I got a 25 on that one.
Okay.
13.
You know, Andrew?
23.
Okay. 13, Gizik, is enough for you to know the Green Man is a figure who is part of the Festival of Green, which is the festival that the Adari Republic, or at least Horta, is celebrating out of its season. And he is what he says he is. The Green Man is supposedly a fey she knight, one who gives gifts to children and surprises adults by doing chores for them and lightening their burdens. But the Green Man is supposedly a legend. It is the equivalent of watching Santa Claus up on top of a roof. And for those of you who might be watching who are children, we believe it's the other people that don't. And
so
he says,
with the 23, what else do I know? Anything else?
You know the legend of the Green Man. Supposedly during the Festival of Green, he brings presents to children and does work for adults and eases their burdens. He's, however, supposed to be just a fairy legend. Most people assume that it's fairy nonsense. Nobody really believes in it. But parents will sometimes put out presents and say that the Green Man brought it, but it's usually only the older families that might do that. The tradition has kind of fallen away. but he's not supposed to be real. This isn't like you heard a legend about Tiamat or Lolth or Orcus or something like that. This is like, oh my goodness.
Also, Andura is probably going to say that, like, that's impossible. The green man isn't real.
'Tis not impossible, save that I have been deviated from my purpose. Who be ye?
We are members of the Divine Fellowship. We're the Hallowed Council. Do you know of the Hallowed Council?
You are those who impede the master's work, or who have set yourselves against him.
Which
I
master?
know of you.
The Piper?
Thus it is. And I cannot but shed tears this night, and every night out of my season. I weep because I love mortal kind. You're all the more precious because of thy mortality. Ye loveth and sacrificeth for one another. I weep because this is a land, a people of peace and protection, and I must watch it all sink beneath the waves or fall into hellfire. My purpose has been taken from me, and in its place I now bring only sorrow.
Who compels you to do this?
My lord, and by his own will, ye shall lose your lives this night, and I have no choice.
Will you take us to see your Lord, that we can appeal directly to him?
Should you survive, I will be compelled to grant thou and thy friends a boon. If thou demandest thus,
as in you are being compelled to attack us?
I have no choice.
Do you have, if it isn't your desire to do so, but you have no choice, is there some direction you can give us that would help us win the day?
Are you suggesting that I countermand the orders of my lord?
No, but
For thus is not within the scope of Paul.
I imagine his direction had to do with actions that you would take, but did he explicitly forbid you from telling us how we might gain advantage in battle?
He has bid me slay those who come too close, to seek out those who might wander the night, unless they be willing to sign themselves over into the service of a devil god.
Well, since we are obviously not going to do that, before you fulfill your mandate and attempt to slay us, what weakness have you that we might exploit in this battle?
I would not sully my hands thus, mortal. He reaches down and points to the door of his carriage. And he says, I beg thy forgiveness, beloved mortals. Would that another gift might replace the scythe I must use to reap ye like a grape cut too soon from the vine. Maestro Oisin, begin the reel. And you hear the carriage just jostle slightly, and out steps a rather old-looking satyr. And he steps out, and he steps out onto square F7 on the building. And he looks up at the green man, and he says, by your leave, my lord. And the satyr nods at him. And then he begins to play just a lovely song. And as he plays, two hairy-looking satyr creatures launch themselves out of the carriage towards you. And that, my friends, initiates initiative.
I was kind of hoping for calliope music, but I guess a fiddle's fine.
Well, he has a violin.
Yeah.
I was hoping it was one of those little rubber band guys that.
Unfortunately, he's not taking that kind of request. And there we go, gentlemen.
That is 22.
Oh, boogers. Hold on. My pencil is of death. Now, I had more pencils down here, you understand, but I also have children, and that means that
you buy a huge pack of pencils and the whole thing's disappeared in 3 days.
Wow. Dost thou have children, Jeffrey? Because it seemeth unto me that I buy a whole package of mechanical pencils and I put them high out of the reach of children, and they're gone within a month. Okay. And it looks as though Benjamin is ready to join us, so we will invite his mug here and make a small adjustment. Andriel, did you say 23?
22.
22.
I got a 21.
Ooh. All right. Gizik with a 2.
I have a 17.
Alrighty, that's different. Okay. Gizik with the 17. And Benjamin, roll initiative. Or we'll kill you. In fact, they're gonna try to kill you anyway. I don't mean to, I don't want to make promises I can't keep here.
$24.
Okay. Ooh.
I rolled well, so that means I'll probably roll crappy for the rest of the night.
I wouldn't bet on it. Okay. There we go. And now, to simplify things, we shall have evil go on one turn. They will go on the turn of the Piper's violinist. And he gets himself only a 19. All right. So let me place everybody on the map. Lachlan, you were down at the base, correct?
Yep.
All right. So Lachlan, let's put you to begin in square 8I. And Uriel, where would you position yourself in relation to Lachlan?
He's usually not too far. Typically in a flanking position, so probably like H9.
Okay, and Uriel is in H9. Moral Khan, where would you be in relation to Lachlan?
I would imagine I would probably be not too far away either. I'm guessing maybe, we'll put me in I-11.
Okay, I-11. Moral Khan, so you are all on the embankment as we speak. And Gizik, where would you place yourself?
Probably still on the road. I would say, I don't know, J12.
Okay. Gizik, you are in J12. Figurejig and Toddletap land. Figurejig lands on square 12I, and Toddletap lands on square 12L. The Maestro is back up. He is in square. We're going to put him in H6.
And that's the violinist, right?
That is the Piper's violinist, Maestro Oisin.
H6?
Yep, we're putting him in H6. He's up on the roof playing a song. And there is another player, but that little player is unseen at the moment. However, Moral Khan, you are up first. You are on the embankment. You are 1 square away from Figurejig, one of these nasty little critters. Now, if you would like to make a knowledge arcana check, you could discern what kind of fey creature he is.
Well, yeah, I'm going to try that and see how it goes. So how about 11? Does that give me any knowledge?
You're pretty sure it's just a satyr with having a really bad hair day. His beard is like wild and out, and his hair is like wild and out in all directions. And the creepy thing about it is that his hair seems to be moving of its own accord ever so slightly.
That's weird. Okay, well,
It is odd.
I'm going to take a minor action to assume Fighting Fury stance.
Okay, good move.
And I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to wind up and I'm going to do Brand of the Sun.
Okay.
And that's going to be a 19 versus AC.
Okay, that is a miss, unfortunately.
Ooh.
Figure Jig dances right out of the way and giggles madly as he dances out of the way. He's like, and just dances, and his hooves go clippity clop along the side. It's kind of difficult to follow him because he's moving that way. You still have a move action.
Well, I'm going to stay put because I'm within range of someone. So,
okay. All right, he stays put, and that will be Moralcon's turn. And Duriel, it is now your turn, my friend. You're in the middle of the embankment.
Okay. And the maestro is on a roof.
Yep.
How many squares is that? So, I guess what I'm asking is, if I have a something that I could do a 3, like a blast 3, would he fall under that, even though he's up higher?
The maestro's up about 3, so 1, 2, 3. With a blast 5, you could probably just barely reach him because he's 3 squares up, and you're 1, 2, 3 squares away. You will just barely get him.
But not a blast 3.
Not with a blast 3. He's about 5 squares away from you.
Okay, well, Andrea's going to try and can I try and get on the roof with him?
Can you try to get on the roof with him? Yeah, if you make a an athletics check, you can climb right up the side of that roof.
Can I make it an acrobatics check?
We can yeah, I'll let you make an acrobatics check.
That is a 23.
Okay, that is more than good enough. So with one movement, you manage to crawl up the side of the building, and you are in square 7H. You are right in front of the violinist.
Okay. And Duriel is going to attack with the Leviathan's Tooth.
Okay, and Duriel, as you approach, the carriage raises ever so slightly above and kind of floats backwards as the fairy dragons pull it away and around to kind of so that the green man can get a better view.
So he's now out of range.
The green man is now far enough away to where he will not be impeding the battle, but neither will he be helping.
Okay, so the maestro's still in front of me. Green man's
Green man has moved away. Yep. The maestro, his AC is 21. What power are you using to attack with?
A weapon of divine protection with the Leviathan's Tooth.
All right, get him.
17. Well, it's a 17 on the dice plus a 12
That's
bonus,
a hit.
so we got it. So when you roll 6, 10, 17 points of damage.
Okay.
And I triggered the Leviathan's Tooth. So he's gonna be pushed 3.
Okay.
Well, anyone within 3 is going to be pushed out, and he's actually flattened. So basically, at Duriel, he's kind of looking around. He hears the fiddle or the violin music, looks around, sees the monsters, and he's like, "I'm tired of attacking the puppets. We need to take out the puppeteer." And so he kind of vaults onto the roof, or however he climbs up there, confronts him, whips out the Leviathan's Tooth, and brings it right down on the guy's chest. And you hear the big "Rah!" and then
Okay. You flatten this poor satyr and his violin into the roof of this house, and you hear a scream from inside the building. You hear a woman's scream, an elderly woman's scream, like, "Ah! Cletus, there's someone on the roof!"
go back to watching your stories.
Okay. And the poor violinist goes, "Gads!" as you slam it in. Ugh! And that is Anduriel's turn. Okay. Moving on. Lachlan, my friend, it is your turn.
Okay, I'm I'm gonna start by singing a song. I'm gonna sing a song called "The Witch's Eye," and it's all about watch out for the witch's eye, because I think it'll make Gizik feel just so ever inspired.
Okay.
I'm gonna give him some inspiration to our not always accurate witch.
Okay. All right. Gizik, you whether or not you feel as though the song is pandering to your whatever you call it, your nationality, your heritage, you just can't help, because it's magical music, to feel inspired by it, and that is the gist of that. So congratulations on your inspiration. And moving on. Okay.
Is the satyr immobilized?
Yes, very much so, being that he is flattened.
Okay, I think right now I'm just gonna go move into square H12 and flank figure jig with Gizik.
Okay. Lachlan, you move into square H12 down the embankment. Okay, Lachlan, being that you are at the top of the embankment, I would like you please to make an either acrobatics or athletics check to be able to make it down the embankment without tripping.
What a waste.
Wow. That is a waste. Would you like
You
to back
nailed it,
that
though.
20 up to see how successfully you get down the embankment?
I backed it up with a 12.
Okay.
I did get a 6 on the stupid 6 die.
All right. So
It wasn't an
Lachlan,
attack roll.
you take a running leap off the embankment, and Nadia Comaneci Simone Biles yourself end over end, and you land with a perfect hit. You don't do that thing where you land in gymnastics and you skid backward and perfectly and come up with your sprawn. It's beautiful. And the green man goes, "Oh, lovely, lovely. Look at how can you just kill him after that?"
The satyrs
So
all hold up.
I tossed my hair in a little vain showman's look, and then my sword lights up with rosy energy as I go swinging at this hairy satyr. I would also like to make an Arcana check to see if I get any information. Ooh, I rolled a 19 plus 8, so that's a 27 on my Arcana.
The satyrs are all holding up scorecards for that leap.
You are not standing next to a satyr, Lachlan. You are standing next to a fey creature called a Korred, Korred. They are more, they're kind of like satyrs who are a little bit more violent in nature, as the Feywild is a reflection of all kind of basic human or prime material experiences, mortal experiences, you might say. Satyrs are music and passion taken to an extreme. Korreds are music and passion that gets taken to violence. That kind of energy. That's what they reflect. You know that they have some magical dance powers that you'll have to be careful of. And you know that shifting away from them, they're going to be able to follow you if you try to shift away from them. So shifting is not going to help you.
Okay.
At least not to get away.
All right. So here comes the virtuous strike. That's a 15 plus with combat advantage 17. So that's a 32.
Okay, and that's a hit.
Sorry, I was just looking at my special sword. I wanted to see if there was anything I wanted to do with it right now, but no, I got so 12 points of radiant damage. So he slashes down with his with or no, does a thrust with this his new rapier that's covered in rosy light. So courtly love is going to do some damage.
All right. So in a beautiful dismount and a lovely slash, you cut into him, and he shrieks, and it's almost a shriek of enjoyment. But he says, "That's not one of the steps of the dance," and kind of just looks at you really weirdly. And that is the end of Lachlan's turn, unless there's something else you're planning on doing.
There is actually. I've got Mocking Smite is free when I hit with a weapon attack. So I'm just going to insult his hair.
Oh.
I'm like, did you forget to comb your hair, you filthy ragamuffin mammoth head, or something?
Ragamuffin, how dare you, sir?
Ragamuffin. Boy, you really cut deep there.
Yeah, elephant head. Poor elephants. Maligned roller.
So he's going to take an additional 9 points of psychic and radiant damage, and I turn invisible.
Oh, he loves you.
Well, I was looking at initiative and realized it's his turn next, so.
Okay. All right. So with a Mocking Smite, and then you vanish from everyone's sight, and he shrieks at you, and he goes, "Ooh, you cheating fairy magic!" And then Figurjig looks at Gizik and Morocon, and he decides that he is going to use Cudgelier's Jig, which is a close burst 1, which will allow him to make a melee basic attack against each creature within the burst. So first things first. Morocon, what's your AC?
20.
Okay. Well, he only got a 22. Anything you can do about that, or anyone else?
Nope.
All right. You take 7 plus 3. You take 10 points of damage. He launches into a dance and starts swinging his club wildly in a circle, and he's like, "Woohoo!" and just starts swinging it in a circle and dancing. And his movements are so unpredictable that it's not like fighting a normal opponent. A normal opponent doesn't attack from where he attacked you, and you just are able to avoid. And now Gizik. Gizik, that is a 23 AC. Is that a hit?
Yes.
Okay, you take 8 points of damage as he clubs and connects with you. Lachlan, he has a -5 to attack you, correct? Because you're invisible. So yeah, he rolled a 3, so technically that's a -2. So he only got he missed you. So that invisibility thing was a good move on your part. Very nice. All right, so that is Figurjig's turn, and now it is Toddletap's turn. Not to be outdone. However, Figurjig, because he has clubbed you with his Cudgelier's Jig, he now gets to shift 2 squares. And he does so. He shifts down and up. Figurjig dances over into square 12G, right behind Lachlan.
That is going to cause him to take 9 points of radiant damage because he's shifting out of my defender's aura.
But he's not shifting out of your defender's aura. He's shifting through it. He shifted down.
Any shift. If an enemy, an enemy in the defender aura shifts or makes an attack that targets an ally but not you, so he takes 9 points of radiant damage.
Oh, he really loves you. It's time to pick out curtains.
Yeah. With flowers and hearts. Yep.
Okay. So what does it look like when your defender aura zaps him?
So it just is like a pulse of energy from Lachlan. That's that same rosy glow that just kind of just slams into him. Almost feels like force, even though it is radiant. It's light energy.
Okay.
But it's like a warm hug that's just really painful.
Okay, Gizik Toddletap moves into the exact same square, and he provokes an attack of opportunity from you.
Into which square?
Into the exact same square that Figurjig was in between all of you. He moves into square 12I and provokes an attack of opportunity from Gizik.
All right, then.
And doesn't seem to care. He just comes running out to where Figurejig was and goes, woo! And comes running in there.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Oh, is that a 1? All right, swing and a miss. And he is going to use Cudgelier's Reel also and attack all 3 of you. Lachlan, -5. That is only an 8, unfortunately, but that's still a 23 with his plus 15 bonus. Does that hit you?
23, probably. Unless there's something I can do about that.
Well, it's a 23. Otherwise, you're going to take 10 points of damage. Orocon, that is a 33. I'm pretty sure he got you. You take 10 points of damage. And Gizik. Oh! Okay, just a 1. No instant kill, so it's only max damage. Could have been much worse. So Gizik,
I think Jerry and Ben had more reaction to that almost death of Gizik than Jeff.
Like, no.
You take 15 points of damage, Gizik. He clubs all 3 of you. He's like, everybody do the barnyard dance. Whack, club, ding to the little slow. Anduriel, you're watching from up on the roof, and you hear all 3 of your commands go, ugh, whack, ugh, like, and giggling coming from down there, and it's just so much fun. And that is the end of their turn. And now, Anduriel, your problems begin.
Hey, Matt, where did Figurejig end?
Figurejig ended right behind you, Lachlan, in square 12B. And Tottletap shift. No, he doesn't want to shift out of your defender aura. He stays right where he is because he doesn't want to take free damage. He thinks that's a bad idea. And Anduriel, an invisible creature, is going to cast a spell at you. And here we go. Anduriel, the 25 hit your will.
Indeed it does.
All right, Anduriel, you take 11 points of damage as a small fae appears in square P6. A small little fae creature appears in that square wearing a green footman's suit, kind of with those long tails, looking like that little livery vest on there, like Downton Abbey style. He casts Weapon Bane Hex on you, and you have to make a melee basic attack against yourself every round on your turn, and you cannot use that weapon to attack him, unfortunately. So Anduriel, he hits you with this shock of green energy, and all of a sudden your weapon is like lunging at you, and you're like, ah! It will not take away your attack, but you will be forced to attack yourself on your turn until you save. And that is his turn. And now it is the violinist's turn. What can he do?
He is prone and restrained.
He is prone and restrained, and there is very little that he can do prone and restrained. So I think what he is going to do, Anduriel, is use his minor action to summon Frigid Waters of the Mournful Coast.
Real quick, what type of damage was from our little Martian man here?
It was psychic damage.
So it was a psychic attack, eh?
Yes, it was. Would you like to do something about that psychic damage that you just took?
I would love to do something about that psychic damage. I'm going to, it's an immediate interrupt.
That
Heart
is
of
correct.
Stone from my Stoneheart armor. It reduces the psychic attack by 10 and then immediately ends any domination or charm effect.
Okay, well, we will call this a charm effect. Actually, it is a charm effect. So congratulations, Anduriel, activating the power of your magic armor. You find yourself going emotionally dead for a minute, and it's a little disturbing because you can't even feel the fire of battle. It doesn't last very long, but as you assume that stony heart status, his psychic energy can't penetrate your frigid heart. So congratulations, Anduriel. Wise use of your armor.
Well, not feeling anything. That's like a Tuesday for Anduriel. So
That's Point Get is gonna love that. That's awesome. Okay. That was a good joke, man. I will stop and golf clap for that.
Well done, sir.
That was lovely. Okay. All right. He's a little disturbed by that. Also by the fact that you just pull your weapon back and you stop attacking yourself. And he kind of raises his eyes. He's a wee thing, and he starts looking for an exit. Like, oh, maybe I don't want to be on this rooftop with the mean vampire while the violinist is flattened. However, the violinist casts a spell, and with his minor action, he fills your square, Anduriel, with deadly frigid water from the Piper's domain. Anduriel, you are going to take 10 points of cold damage if you start your turn there, unfortunately, and you will be immobilized, save ends. So Anduriel's square is now basically an icy flow of water that's kind of just gushing up. It almost looks like it's a little swirling pool or a tank that's filled or whatnot. And Morocon, strangely enough, you can't feel the intense cold that you should be feeling from it. It does not seem to bother you for some reason. Anduriel, it's cold to you, and you're dead. Like, I don't think you have cold resistance, do you, Anduriel? Okay.
Nope.
Alrighty. And that is...
I'm just channeling my inner Elsa.
Okay.
The cold doesn't bother me anyway.
Somebody had to say it.
Oh,
okay.
That's only if you can resist cold.
I think that gets back to the comment in chat that you just made.
Okay. What did he do to you? All right. He
Besides
is
what
going
he just
to...
did.
Yeah, this is bad. This is just bad news. He's in a bad way because you've got him flattened. Okay, he is going to use Open Death's Door on you, which is a song that you've actually heard before. It's a song that the Piper's others minions have used. So he's flattened into the wall. He grabs his violin and is like, as you bear, it's like barely manages to squeeze the melody out. And he rolls a 1, Anduriel. And that is
thank goodness.
Oh, lovely. That is such good news for you because he would have been able to teleport you with Open's Death's Door.
Son of a gun.
And he is not. And his turn is over. Gizik, my friend, it is your turn. So basically, you're terrifying both of them. You shook off one of the Fae's spell, that little man in the green suit, and the violinist plays a song, and you're like ignoring it. And they're both like, my lord, things are not going as expected. And
does that guy have to make a save against the Leviathan's Tooth, or is that just when it ends?
I think it's till the end of Anduriel's next turn.
Right.
Oh.
Okay. All right, Gizik, it is your turn, my friend.
All right, I'm going to try to bewitch Tip or Tap or whatever.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It is save ends.
That is a ranged attack. You will provoke an attack of opportunity, Gizik.
Not with my expertise, I won't.
Oh!
Wow.
All right, so that's a 28.
That is a hit. You have bewitched Toddle Tap.
Let's see then. I will vulnerable 2.
Okay. Very good, sir.
Then it's time for Waves of Ecstasy. So this should let's see, 1, 2. This should attack every enemy within 5 of me, so I think it's just those 2.
Okay.
So for...
Their will is 20.
Alright. Well, there's another 1 for...
For figure jig?
Yeah. And then a 21.
Okay, you got Toddle Tap. So he is slowed and takes psychic damage, right?
No, this is Waves of Ecstasy, so it will do damage and knock him prone.
Okay.
And so for the one I hit, he cannot stand up until he saves. And for the one I missed, he will still be prone, but the damage will be cut in half.
Okay.
Let's see. This should be... $14 damage. So Figure Jig gets 14, and
7.
Tappy Tap. I keep forgetting his real name.
Toddle Tap.
Toddle Tap. Okay, we'll get half that.
Okay. Poor Figure Jig. He is taken quite the beating. He is bloodied now.
All right, so he's bloodied and prone and can't stand up.
Hey, since Gizik, you bloodied him, I will use Virtue of Valor as a free action to give you 5 temporary hit points.
All right.
Be encouraged, man.
That's lovely. All right.
And I don't care to move, so that'll end my turn.
Okay, very nice, Mr. Gizik. Back over to the top. It is Morokon's turn.
Okay, so Toddle Tap is the one that is being flanked by Lachlan and Gizik, right?
Toddle Tap is in the middle of all of you. That is correct.
Alrighty.
And he's on the floor now.
Cool. Well, I'm
He
gonna.
likes it.
He kind of likes everything.
He likes all the things at the moment. So I'm going to use a minor, and I am going to charge up my Fire Flower brooch.
Okay. So you breathe fire on your chest?
Right. So I like to think that if I'm going to be charging this thing, I'm going to focus on it. It glows a bit, and as I just blow fire, it just kind of like... whoop.
Very cool.
So there's that. And
in reality, what happens is there's some lovely like gramophone music that comes on, and no, it's good. That's good. I like that.
Some scratchy singer from the gramophone is singing
from the
now.
40s. Yeah.
Right.
If I didn't care. And yeah, something like that.
Okay, well, and now let's. You know what? I'm gonna do Eagle Claw Strike on this poor fellow on the floor here.
Okay,
is that a +2 to attack because he's prone?
You have combat advantage.
Excellent. Because I need it. That's dirty 20 against Fortitude.
That is a miss by 1.
Oh wait. He's bloodied, right?
He is bloodied.
I get a +1 to attack.
Toddle Tap is not bloodied, Morocon.
The one that's on the floor in front of us?
They're both on the floor, but the one that is on the floor in front of you is not bloodied.
Oh, okay.
He needs a +1. Where can you squeeze a +1?
Well, if he's bloodied, that's where I can do that. But
and he's not.
Can anyone give me a +1?
Lachlan, can you +1 him?
I can give you a round of applause. I don't know.
Okay, well,
I'll use Adept's Insight and give you a +3.
+3.
Well, it's an encounter power. Could be worth it.
Lachlan, like elbows you in the side and says, "You're gonna miss."
I'm doing the best I can with all this hardware hanging on my robes. And using Stone Fist because I want to end this guy. 7 + 4 is 11 plus... So 16 total damage.
Did you add your
Fighting Fury?
Fighting Fury?
Oh, so that's 19 total damage.
And did you add your Stone Fist?
Yep, that's okay. Everything.
All right.
And he gets a -3 to his AC.
Are you going to release the fire? We're going to keep it up so you get your defenses.
I'm going to keep it up so I can keep my defenses.
Okay, good plan. All right. So he's dancing around and he finally holds still enough and you're like, hold still, and you swing with your eagle claw strike. You swing out, and you catch him by the back of the skull, and crunch, and you dig your fingers in and your claw, and pull him back, and smash your fist into his ribs, and he's like, ah! And makes that noise precisely, and that's Morocon. All right, Anduriel, you're up, my friend. He is still. It's save ends. Let's see if he saved. He did save on his turn. So he is now going to be able to get up. However, he's still prone in front of you for the moment. And the little man in the green suit is to the right of you. And they're both looking extremely nervous.
And I'm in a square filled with water.
You are. And Ariel, you take 10 points of cold damage. You don't have cold resistance, do you?
Negative.
Okay, you are also immobilized. Save ends.
Well, there's not much I can do. Well, actually, never mind.
He's on the floor in front of you. There's an awful lot you can do.
Well, I'm immobilized, right? So it feels like there's not a lot I can do. But then I remember, oh man, I'm this vampire guy, and I have this thing called Swarm of Shadows. I should try that.
Well, it's not a terrible idea.
I mean, I'm going to give it a whirl.
I wish you luck, and I'm the DM. I'm trying to kill you.
I don't know about that. Okay, here we go.
I wouldn't trust me.
Okay, that's a 17 on the dice. Plus 7. What is it, 26?
Versus what?
Versus Fortitude.
All right, you got him.
Okay. All right, let me roll it up and then we'll... 6, 12, 15, 22 points of damage.
Oh boy.
And ongoing 5, save ends. And then I teleport to 5I and am invisible.
Alrighty. That is very disconcerting to him. As you teleport all around him, clawing him, biting him, slapping him, asking for your money back, whatever, poking him in the eye with his own violin rod, bow, excuse me, he shrieks and yells, and he's like, "Oh, this isn't part of the song! Oh!" and screams, and the little man in the green suit is like, "Good luck." Thinking, like, looking for an exit. And that is nice. All right, anything you want to do with your minor or with your move?
Oh yeah, with my minor action, I want to activate my Stoneheart armor as a minor to gain 5 temporary hit points.
Good move. Okay.
Does
Very
his
good.
teleport end the immobilized, or does he still?
Yes, it does. He's no longer in the square. He's no longer trapped by the icy water. However, 7H is still a dangerous square. The icy water is still like bubbling up and flowing and churning right there. Almost like a tank of water with no glass.
While I'm invisible, I'm going to use my move action to move to O5, which is right next to the green fellow.
Oh, you're so mean. You're just gonna have your way with that.
I'm after his lucky charms.
You are. You are definitely after his lucky charms. The lucky charms in his neck. Okay, moving on. Very good. That was Anduriel, and now it is Lachlan.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, I think while this guy's down, I think I'm just gonna pound him. So
Poor figure jig.
A nice virtuous strike.
Okay. How virtuous of you to attack him on the floor.
The other guy has a -3 to AC, by the way.
He does have a -3 to AC, but I have, well, that's tempting.
It is tempting because if you remember, they have a very high AC.
And Toddle Tap is I'm flanking Toddle Tap. So I've already got
you are.
And so yeah, this is gonna be good. Okay, that's a 16 on the die. So with all of his penalties and my pluses. That should be good, right?
That's a hit, yes.
Ooh, and it rolled an 8, so
Beautiful.
So 16 points of radiant damage.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, Lachlan, describe your strike.
He's going for a gut, just a gut thrust, and just skewer this guy while he's on the ground. So nothing too fancy. Just
Okay. Okay, Captain Shakespeare. Okay, you all right, so oddly enough, he's still like on the floor dancing, and there's no music, but he's still on the floor dancing. And so he's like dancing and writhing around. You're like, hold still, and then you sink your sword into his quadricep, and he screams. And that is his turn, or your turn, Lachlan. Okay, and now it is the turn of evil. And what is the violinist going to do?
Actually, I think I'm going to use my move action. I don't like ending my turn being flanked.
Okay.
So I'm going to use my Rift Boots to teleport, which will dazzle both of them.
Ooh.
So they'll be both at -1s to attack.
All right.
And then I'm just going to teleport. Let's see, 1, 2. I'll be in square L11.
L11. All righty. So, Lachlan, describe what it looks like when you make your move.
Oh, it's a little bit Sailor Moonish. He like there's a big flourish and this kind of sparkly clap. I mean, it's very magic show, and
okay,
reappears out there with a ta-da.
Okay, so
his hair
like
turns into long blonde ribbons.
Yeah, he accessorizes earrings, tiara, the whole bit. Okay, so Lachlan, you vanish in a burst of golden light, and you twirl in place, and poof, you pop up, and you come out of the twirl, and you're kind of still twirling, like, and then you stop on one foot, but it's like the boots do it. They kind of help you. So very, very cool. And Lachlan, you teleport away from them, which is a good move, given that it's their turn. You do love to move away from the enemy when it's their turn. That's all right. All right, let's see if Figure Jig recharges his Cudgeler's Jig, and he does not. Let's see if Toddle Tap. Oh, actually, no, yes, he did. And Toddle Tap did too. Well, it's going to be a whack-a-palooza. All right, Figure Jig gets up. And let's see. He can't do anything but get into position, which is really unfortunate for him. All right, he is going to move into square. Morocon, he comes up the embankment because he wants to hit you. So he's going to go 1, 2. He will wind up in square 10I on the other side of Morocon. So Figure Jig goes up the embankment, and that's his full turn because he wasn't in a position to charge. Toddle Tap is going to get up and swing at Morocon and Gizik. Morocon, that's 17 plus an enormous hit. And
I'm going to interrupt and use Water Gives Way on him.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get hit again.
Oh, that's a good move. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And that's going to be a 21 against Fortitude.
That is exactly what you needed.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Okay.
Well, you're welcome. I didn't do anything but tell the truth, which is ironic. Yeah.
Mm, 19 plus 1 plus okay, so that's 25 damage, and it's 3d10 plus 3.
That'll do.
And then plus fighting fury and such. So yeah, some good stuff. And then I'm gonna shove him 2 squares away.
Okay, Gizik, I am ruling that interrupts before he is able to hit you. Okay. And you shove him into what square?
So I'm going to shove him into square G14.
Okay.
So I'm pushing him away.
G14.
Knocking him prone, right?
Yes.
Okay. Poor Toddle Tap. He doesn't look like he can take he looks like 2 more blows, 2 more average hits, and he's gonna go down. So Toddle Tap gets up and starts doing that dance, and you guys are swinging around him, and he swings the club and he goes, woo! And he swings the club at Morocon. Morocon, you bend at the waist as the club goes under, and you snatch it in your claw. And he looks and he tugs on the club as you're holding it like there, and you maybe growl at him a little bit.
Right.
And then boom, boom, boom. And teeth, hair, I mean, and he's like, doesn't look quite so happy.
I've seen this move before, and I'm not going to take it again.
He's not feeling the music like he was before. He might be hearing it. He might be seeing stars, but okay. And that is both of the Chorids' turns, unfortunately for them. All right. And now, Anduriel, you are invisible. And
Correct.
What does he want to do? Oh, dear. All right, Lachlan, you've made an annoyance of yourself. So I tell you what he's going to do. Anduriel, actually, yeah. Anduriel, he provokes an attack of opportunity from you because he is using a ranged attack and he doesn't know that you're next to him. So, Lachlan, he fishes out a pocket full of gold coins from his little green coat. And he goes, well, that'll be enough of your tricks there, laddie. And he goes to throw the coins. And Anduriel, you see an opening. You may attack him.
I shall take that. Oh.
Is that what I think it is?
It's a natural 20.
Is it?
It is. Let's see if I have to bring my...
What? You're just going to have to do something here.
Okay. It's on my computer. I can't really...
That's fine.
All right. That's a 14.
That'll hit.
Roll a 6. Roll a
That's a
6.
1.
But it's still max damage on a melee basic.
Still max damage. Not bad. And so the kukri is a 1d6, and then I get a +4 to damage on melee basics. So.
And it's it's a high crit weapon too, so an extra die 6.
Oh, that's right. So that's 12, 17.
Oh, he does not like that. All right, so Lachlan, he goes, that'll be enough for your tricks, lad. Oh! Anduriel, do you appear when you attack?
Just my arm with the kukri.
All right, he gets stabbed in his little fairy back, unfortunately, as he does that. So he takes the damage, Lachlan, but he does cast Charm of Golden Coins on you. And it's a 13. Does a 13 hit your will, Lachlan?
No.
Well, he is going to use Luck of the Fae and re-roll that attack. And that is a 21 versus will. Does that hit your will?
It would, except I'm going to use Bastion of Mental Clarity to give myself +4 to will.
Oh.
And when I use it, it affects me and allies within 5. So Morocon, Lachlan, and Visit, we're all going to get +4s to will till the end of my next turn.
Okay. So what he does is he chucks a fistful of gold coins from his pocket down into the street, which would have forced you right next to Figurejig and Toddle Tap. And you would have had to run over there. And for a minute, the compulsion overcomes you, and you're like, coins, coins, coins. And you're like, no, I have money. I'm not poor. My mother's rich. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. And you manage to
Coins.
do that. Yeah. Okay. Anduriel, as you come closer to him, you feel his luck begin to affect you negatively. You feel like as long as you're standing next to him or within 2 squares of him, you are having horrible luck. You can't find your footing, and it's beginning to overtake you. So just FYI, you are in his fairy luck aura.
No,
And
good.
that would be him. All right. So that is.
By the way, I have fought these damn leprechauns before, and they are horrible. Sorry.
Yes. Well, I mean, none of the stuff that he's got has really worked, so I don't know if they're going to believe you. It's
I'm just saying.
You're saying it's terrible. Okay. Well, the violinist saved, so he is going to get up. And what does he want to do? All right,
He takes five damage from Swarm of Shadows.
Yes, he does, and I've already marked it off.
Okay.
All right, first of all, let's see if he saves. And he does, unfortunately, save versus
No problem.
Swarm of Shadows. So he will shake that off at the end of his turn. And Duriel, he can't see you. Lachlan, he can see you. And what does he want to do? All right. He is going to use the Piper's Call. And that allows him to teleport 6 squares before he uses the power. And Anduriel, he has no interest whatsoever in being near you. So he is going to go 1. Let's see. Where does he want to go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He teleports over into square 13D. So the satyr violinist teleports out of there. And he is going to play the Piper's Call on you, Lachlan. Does a 28 hit your will?
Well, shoot. Yeah.
Okay, well then this is gonna hurt. All right. Oh, that's a terrible roll. Good for you. So 5 plus 10. You take 15 points of psychic damage, and you are pulled your movement speed towards the satyr. So
about F12 or so.
5. You wind up in your speed is 6, right?
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You wind up in square 13F, Lachlan.
Okay.
And that unfortunately is going to take you past Toddle Tap. And that will mean that can you take attacks of opportunity while you're prone?
Yeah,
Can you?
Is it does he choose where I go, or do I get to choose where I go?
Oh no, he chooses where you go. He's playing a horrible song, and as he plays each stroke, you take a step and cuts like open up and appear on your arm. Like every swing of his bow is a cut and a step you take. Yeah. The Piper's Call is a worse spell than Death's Door.
Now you can take attacks of opportunity, just suffer a -2.
All right, well, he's going to swing at you. Oh!
You butthead.
Dang.
Well, that is a 20. But that's only a 4. So he did not back it up with a 19. However, Toddle Tap does swing at you and do 11 plus 3, 14 points of damage. Lachlan, as you go dancing by as he plays this violin, he clubs you in the side of your knee and twists your knee. And it hurts a lot. And he is going to... Can't use his move action. He is going to use his minor action, Lachlan, to use Frigid Waters of the Mournful Coast again. And Lachlan, he fills your square with that frigid, swirling, icy water from the Piper's domain. And you will take 10 points of damage and be immobilized if you start your turn there. And he hates you, so he is going to use his action point on you now. And he is going to play... He's going to play a Murderous Melody.
Jeez Louise.
That's a 20 versus will.
Miss.
Okay, so he plays the melody, and unfortunately, fortunately for him, you are able to shut out his Murderous Melody. But you almost felt like his song was driving you mad, and then he played another one, and if you didn't have that shield up, you might be feeling differently, but you throw it off. And that is their turn. Gizik, it's your turn, my friend.
All right.
Let's do this, Gizik.
I'm gonna.
bloodied in that whole.
Wait until you start your turn in the frigid water.
Crap, yeah.
All right, so Tottertap's still by the wagon, right?
Toddle Tap is in 14G on the floor.
14. Oh, I think I wrote him down in 14H. All right.
Ben said 14G, so that's where I put him.
Yeah, it's in 14G.
14G.
Yeah, I know, but when the labels are
14G,
so
Jeff.
far away from the squares,
It's
sometimes
14G.
you do it all the time too.
We all
All
do.
right. Well, then I'm going to move over to 13H.
Okay.
And
And do something mean.
yeah, Tater Tot was the one that I bewitched, right?
I
You mean-
support what just happened.
Toddle Tap. Yes, I believe Toddle Tap is the one you bewitched.
I believe he still also has a -3 to AC
Until
Because-
the end of Ben's next
All
turn.
right.
until the end of my turn, right?
Well, let's give him a little hag's hunger. Ugh. So that would be 17 versus AC. Would that hit?
No, it would not.
What about with inspiration?
With
18
inspiration,
versus AC. And he has a -3 as well, still.
Well,
with
-3,
a-
and he's prone, right?
With a -3, oh yeah, he is prone. So actually, that's exactly what you needed to hit. Whoa! Congratulations, multiple effects.
I needed to hit the 18 or the 17.
You need an 18 to hit.
All right, then. I will use the inspiration and hit him. And then for the second hit, that is a 23 versus AC. So that will also hit.
Did you hit with both Hag's Hunger attacks?
Yes.
Whoa.
That's only happened once before, and that was against me.
Planketh, I demand that you take note of this in your review. I can't demand. I'm just, hey, very nice. I don't feel like Toddle Tap is long for this world.
All right, so this will be 2d10
I'm
Plus-
surely not long for this world.
plus 16. So 2d10 plus 16 ends up being 19.
That's exactly what you needed. Congratulations.
Plus he has vulnerability too, so.
Okay, well, he doesn't have much now. He's dead. Or he's dying, rather. All right, Jeffrey, describe what you do to Toddle Tap. As he sees you running toward, like, lumbering towards, like, no. Like,
Well, I take my savage claws and I just start ripping into him. Just shredding him, basically.
okay. All right, so Gizzy
Like he's been in the crock pot all day.
sifting through the garbage, just and this little fake fair Korrid creature is going, ah! And just then gives up the ghost right there.
And I'll just
And,
continue doing that until my next turn.
All right, you drop it, and the green man floating in the air above you goes, "Oh, bravo! That was beautiful. Dare I hope you shall prevail." And he seems in a much better spirits now for some reason. Very nice. Gives it back up to the top with the person who is at the top of the initiative,
Morocon.
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 That's me.
That is you.
Okay. Well, I see Gizik doing that, and I give a hearty, yes! Let's finish this! And my claw starts glowing and burning, and I turn around and throw a big haymaker of avenging flame at this guy. And that is a 16 plus 9 to attack. Math is failing me at the moment.
That'll do.
Against AC? Okay.
That's more than enough.
All right. Sweet. That is 14 damage plus ongoing 5 plus ongoing fire.
Alrighty.
And I will use a minor action to cast Healing Word on myself.
That is a good move. Okay, Morocon, the light of the moon envelops you, and your wounds begin to heal as you cast your spell.
Wait, what?
And
The light of the moon?
It's nighttime, and you are out in the middle of the street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and you worship the goddess of light, right? The sun, the moon, and the stars. So, moonlight
Somebody's
pools
the
around you.
I suppose that'll do. I'm
Okay.
more of a sun guy, but yeah.
Well, unfortunately, it's not out. Okay, so that's not all right. Hemina takes back her healing because of your lack of gratitude, and you take 10 points.
It's okay. I'll take it.
You take 10 points of pissed off deity damage, and that would be moral concern. Okay, and now it would be Anduriel.
All right. Well, Anduriel believes that he makes his own luck. He doesn't believe in this whole superstitious nonsense. So he's going to attack the little green feller
Okay.
with Taste of Life.
All right. Good luck with that. His what defense does that target?
Fortitude.
Okay. His fortitude's only 18. Good luck.
That is a natural 20.
Unfortunately, you have to roll again because you are in his aura.
Poop. That's a 17 on the dice.
It's still a hit, but it hurts to lose that 20, doesn't it?
The DM giveth, the DM taketh away.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, that's painful.
I don't think I've ever done 2 in 1. Okay, it's fine. Never happened. It
okay.
didn't even happen.
That's all right.
I can't feel bad about it because it never happened.
It didn't. Well, it would have happened, but you go and your aim was true. You were going to go right through his little throat, and all of a sudden, you trip over your own shoelace, and you come down, but you manage to swing and hit him.
All right. 18 points of damage, and it's a vampire attack, so I'm going to get a surge here. So, yes, I kind of out of nowhere appear. Hello, little one. And I go to attack, and I am, like you said, I am right on with the jugular, and I stumble, and I still kind of, as I'm going down, I kind of grab him and I bite his arm instead of his neck.
Okay. All right.
I meant to do this.
Okay. You're biting on his arm, and he's like, no. Okay. He shrieks out in pain and terror as you take hold of him. He is a small creature and therefore is not particularly strong, and you are terrifying him, which is bad news for him. Okay, very good, Anduriel. Lachlan, it's your turn, my friend. Lachlan, you take 10 points of cold damage, and you are immobilized.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start with a nice majestic word on myself.
Okay.
Which will allow me to slide myself 2 squares.
But so you are immobilized.
I'm not moving. I'm sliding me.
But DM, his word is majestic.
I thought when you are immobilized, you are immune to forced movement.
I thought so too. I didn't. Was Anduriel's, did it work just because it was a teleport?
That's correct.
Well, then instead of majestic word, I'm going to use revitalizing incantation because it gets me more hit points.
Okay. Right. Frigid, icy water climbs up and begins to encase your legs in ice.
Not good. Not good.
Very bad. Very bad.
I think you can still have forced movement when you're immobilized. You just can't move.
You can't leave the square from wherever you are. I think you might be right about that.
Somebody else can force you somewhere else, but you can't move on your own. I think that's how it works.
I'm not sure you can slide yourself, but we can look that up later.
Although you can teleport and can be forced to move by a pull, a push, or a slide.
Oh, yep. All right. You can use majestic word if you'd like. Thank you for looking that up, Jeffrey.
Well, then I will take fewer hit points back and slide myself into square Let's see. I guess it would be. I'll just slide into square E12 next to the violinist.
All right. All right, Lachlan. So you pep talk yourself out of that. What do you say?
For
Good
him,
enough.
even though it's a bard power, it's still a prayer. He says, "In pain, Sindel, help me triumph over this vicious creature."
Okay. And an invisible force moves you out of the water.
And then I'm going to blunder him. I would like to use blunder. Actually, wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Instead of sliding into that square, I'm going to slide into square F12.
All right.
And then I'm going to use blunder, and I'm going to use blunder on the leprechaun.
All righty.
So that's a 29 versus will.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, you are just close enough. That's gonna hit. Poor leprechaun.
Okay,
He's
so
got a vampire on him.
He's going to take 10 points from me, and then I'm going to slide him right past Anduriel. So Anduriel's going to get a free melee basic attack with a +3.
Okay.
But I'm going to slide him off the roof, and so he'll have to save or fall.
5 squares. Yeah, 3 squares. Excuse me. All right, Anduriel, please attack.
Okay. That's a 3.
That's unfortunate. So that is a miss.
Don't I
However,
have to roll again because I'm in his bad luck aura?
you do
Well,
have
no,
to
you-
roll again.
But you get a +3 to attack.
But
roll.
you still take the lower of the 2 rolls, my friend, which right now is a 3.
That was a 3 as well. I'm
Okay.
consistently horrible with that.
All right. You cast blunder. The leprechaun pulls away and ends up dragging your fangs across his arm and squirting. And he's like, ah! And Anduriel, you bring up your kukri, you flip it around in your hand and go to strike. But when you flip it around in your hand, you fumble it. And you're like, and you still hold on to it, but you can't quite hit him. It's really embarrassing.
What is going on?
And he is looking for the exit.
Did he make a save? Please tell me no. I want to watch him fall off the roof.
He did not make a save, unfortunately. All right. What square did you pull him into, Lachlan?
Square N8.
All right. All righty. And he...
M or N?
N as in Nancy.
Not
All right.
M as in Mancy.
Lachlan, he pulls out of Anduriel's fangs, which is really, it hurts already. And he goes, and falls over backwards and lands with a hard thud in the street, just a short distance from that lamppost. Okay. And he lands in the street, and that window opens, and some lady pokes her head out from that window right where he fell. And she goes, "Here now, you stop that fighting!" As the leprechaun falls right past her window. And she starts screaming, "Cletus, them's pushing people off the roof!" And she would be yelling for Cletus to get his gun, but instead she's telling him to get his crossbow. So
He's about to empty her chamber pot out the window.
something like that. Action is coming, however.
So how much falling damage did he take?
He took 10 points of falling damage.
Oh, that's just delicious. Yeah.
Well, it is, because he's hurt pretty bad. They're all hurt pretty badly, except for the violinist. He's got hit points to spare. And that is Lachlan. And now it is.
No, I'm gonna blow that action point, Matt.
Oh, you are. Oh.
One good charm deserves another. So I look at the violinist and I say, "Lady Trueheart, shatter his heart on the altar of your scorn." Let's channel divinity here. And that's a 13 plus 12, 25 against will.
That's a hit, my friend.
Okay, so that will pull him square towards me,
Okay.
make him prone and vulnerable 5-all till the end of my next turn, and spend his next turn not playing music, but rather, well, he can play music. It's just going to be a lovely serenade to me.
Okay. All right. well, I feel he'll probably best express himself in song, just like the last enemy that you fought, who launched into a Celine Dion power ballad. Anyway, moving on. Okay, very good. And that is Lachlan's effective turn. We'll see what he does on his turn. Oh, look, it's the enemy's turn. So Lachlan, he falls to his knees before you and starts singing, "'Cause I'm your lady," and breaks into it. And he launches into the song and he says, "I'm sorry. We could make such beautiful music together. I don't know why I attacked you. It's not my fault. It's the piper. It's the..." And then he looks at you as the charm breaks, and he gets up and dusts himself off and chants briefly, and he and Figurejig go invisible, as does the leprechaun. And that is all he can do on his turn. And all three of them are invisible, and now it is the leprechaun's turn. Well, he is pretty mad. What is he going to do? Lachlan, he is going to not be able to hit. Oh, yes, he is. Lachlan, he hits you with a prismatic blast, or at least he tries to. What is your reflex?
Reflex is 19.
All right. He rolled a 19, which makes his combat advantage and plus 12 irrelevant. Lachlan, you take, my friend. Oh, Lachlan, you take 16 points of radiant damage, and he slides you back into the frigid water. So Lachlan slides into square 13F into the frigid water again. He hits you. He reaches out with his little shillelagh, that little wooden stick with a knob on the end of it, and a rainbow bursts forth out of it, slams into you, scorching and burning you with radiant damage, and knocking you back into that frigid water. And he goes, "Oh, how do you like that charm, little laddie? You with your tricks. How do you like that trick, eh?" And then he is going to use his minor action to create a chasm under Anduriel. Alrighty, so in squares 5 and 6, O and P, Anduriel, you fall into a chasm. Now, the odd thing about this, Anduriel, is you fall into a pit 4 squares deep. However, you may make an insight check versus his arcana check to disbelieve his illusion. And since he made a crappy arcana check and rolled an 11, you might be able to get out of this.
I'm going to roll a 3 again. That is a 14 on the dice.
Okay. So, Anduriel, he conjures an illusion. He just twiddles his fingers, and all of a sudden a pit and a chasm opens up before you, and you're like, I don't think there's a pit standing under me. This is a house. And once you realize that, the pit just kind of vanishes.
And here I was thinking that Anduriel was going to land on top of Cletus.
Well, it's an illusion. And that puts him, well, really not being able to do much because he can't move. All right, so that is the leprechaun's turn. And now that is the violinist's turn. The violinist is still invisible. Now it's Tottletap's turn. Tottletap is hurting really bad.
Do you mean Figurejig?
Excuse me, Figurejig. He's hurting really bad. All right, Moral Khan. Well, first things first, he takes 5 points of damage.
Yes.
Which doesn't look like he is going to be able to take that too many more times. All right, let's see if he saves against it. And he rolls a 3, Moral Khan. He is still on fire. He's also dazzled and has a -1 to his attacks. Let's see if he recharges Cudgelier's Jig. He's not. So he's just going to swing his cudgel at you and get a 27. Moral Khan, you take 14 points of damage as he clubs you in the head and stands up. And that's really all Figurejig is going to be able to do on his turn. What are you down to, Moral Khan?
42. When I did healing word on myself, I got back up to full health.
That's lovely. Okay, and that is Evil's turn. Gizik, it's your turn.
All right.
Standing over the body of poor Toddletap.
Why don't you bewitch me and get me out of this ice?
Just aim for one of the bad guys.
Gizik, you can do anything you want. Gizik, it's your turn.
I can try something like that. I will attack you with a aggressive compulsion.
Oh, good plan.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bard.
How high is your will?
Well, my power ended, so it's only a 21.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to hit that.
All right. Gizik casts a spell and he tries to take control of your limbs, Lachlan, and he's conjuring, and you're just like, "What are you doing? Why are you? What with that?" All right, you still have a move and a minor, Gizik. Do you want to go anywhere?
No, but I can try to bewitch Figure Jig.
Okay, go for it.
21.
That'll do. All right, poor Figure Jig is now bewitched.
I will, I'll go with the, once per turn I can move him.
Okay. Where would you like to move him for now?
Yeah, I think he's fine where he is.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, you can always adjust that with a minor action on your turn if you choose to.
Can he bewitch an invisible person?
Oh, is he invisible right now?
That's right. Thank you. Thank
He's
you.
not invisible when he took a swing at me.
Oh, that's
though,
right. Yeah,
was
he swung. Yeah, he swung and attacked. He's visible.
Yeah, okay.
And on fire.
And on fire. So even if you couldn't see him, you can see smoke rising above his square.
Smell burnt
Smell
Figure Jig.
a little barbecue. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ugly. Poor Figure Jig. He's having a rough day. All right, backward to the top. Anduriel, or Moralcon, it's your turn, my friend.
Sweet. All right. Well, I see this smoldering little fey in front of me, and I'm going to double down on that. So I'm going to, I will say a little prayer. Hamina, set ablaze all those who stand in your path. And I...
She says no because you don't like the moon.
Hang on.
Okay. All right. Hang on.
And I try harder as I channel divinity and burst into flames.
Okay. All right. So you burst into sunlight, which is an odd looking display at night. Very nice.
Well, it's a well-lit battlefield now. And I am going to... I'm going to try this. I haven't done this yet. We'll test this out. So I'm going to 5 storms Figure Jig here.
All right.
And just do a flurry of blows here. I don't have that feat, but that's what I'm describing what it's looking like.
Your E Honda. That's fine.
Right.
Okay.
And that is rolled well. That's a 24 against reflex.
That is a hit.
Okay. Oh, that's good. 10 and 16 points of damage.
Oh, he loves you.
So yeah, burst into the suns and just speed bag this guy's head.
All right, Gizik, Moralcon, you burst into sunlight, and the lady at the window goes, "Oh, Cletus! He turned off the light!" And he goes, "Gladys, get away from the window!" and that's pretty much what goes on inside there as you do that. Okay, Moralcon, Anduriel, it is your turn, my friend.
How's this jabroni looking, by the way?
Horrible. If somebody pees on him, he's gonna die.
Well, Anduriel can't see the violinist. He can't see the little leprechaun dude.
Yes, you can. He cast a spell.
Oh, perfect.
Remember, he hit Lachlan with a vicious rainbow.
That's right. Well, that deserves a response. So I'm gonna jump off the roof.
Okay, make an acrobatics check, please, to slow your fall.
Whoop. That is a 13 plus.
More than enough. Okay, where do you land?
I land right next to him in 08.
Okay. All right, Andrea, you drop down the side of the roof and land right next to him.
I'm going to attack with Inspire Fanaticism.
Alrighty.
It's versus AC. It's 17. That's 29.
That's a hit.
Oh crap! Do I have to roll twice because I'm in his aura?
Actually, you do.
I should have taken the win on that one.
But that would have been dishonest, and that's not who you are.
I can't tempt fate like that.
You don't want to tempt fate.
All right, so that is a 22 versus armor class.
That is definitely a hit.
Beauty. All right, so it's 2 weapon damage plus 2 plus the bonus. So 17 points of damage.
Okay.
And me, I'll take half damage till end. So, and Duriel kind of flies or jumps off the roof, lands right next to him, and then that kind of silver shimmer starts to come over him, and then his eyes go from being like normal eyes, and they just turn into these silver kind of glowing things, and he just looks down and he says, "Hello, little man. It's me." and he's talking very soothingly to the little guy, and the little guy's just like transfixed while Anduriel pulls out his kukri and just stabs him in the gut.
Okay. So you gut stab this poor little fellow, and he's like, he's looking around, and then Gladys yells out, "Cletus! There's a stabbing! There's been a knifing in the street! Help! Help! There's a knifing in the street!" And shrieking. However, all of this is happening fairly fast, so who knows if the Just Blades will arrive in time.
I'm going to use my action point.
Oh, are you now?
And attack with Divine Juggernaut. Oh, I'm.
Do it.
Roll twice, please.
I know, that's what I'm.
Just twice. That's all. Not more than that.
No more, no less.
Yeah.
This is versus AC. So that's 14. So that's 26.
Okay. And the second hit.
Oh, that's even better. Okay.
All right. So 26 is a hit, and he dies.
Oh, okay.
All right. Do you hit him with Weapon of Divine Protection?
Divine Juggernaut.
All right. Well, with that, he definitely dies. So describe what you do. So you gut stab him, and then.
So I gut stab him, and then Divine Juggernaut has sort of this similar thing where the divine nature of Anduriel starts to kind of beam out through him, goes down his arm into the blade, and you just start to see this out of the bite marks come this kind of silver light from the leprechaun out of his nose and his ears and his eyes. So he starts to kind of gleam, and then he just shudders and falls.
Okay, Anduriel, you light up the street for a minute, and Gladys looks at you, and she slams the window shut, and you hear a bolt being latched. You're incredibly creepy right now, even glowing with angelic power as you are. Okay, and that drops him. Now it's Evil's turn. The violinist.
No.
And
My turn.
why should you get a turn? I see no reason to provide you. Go ahead, Lachlan.
He wants to save from swimming.
All right, Lachlan, you take 10 points of cold damage. Happy you got your turn?
Yep. I'm going to start with Divine Metal. Give myself a save with a bonus equal to my my charisma. So that'll end the stupid immobilization.
Great.
Then with my move action, I'm going to move around him into square 13C.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use a I want to hit him, but I'm going to use my second wind.
He's invisible.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know
Okay.
that he's there then, do I?
Nope.
He could have moved. So maybe instead of moving behind where he was, I move behind Gizik.
Okay.
So I'll go into square J12.
All right. You would provoke an attack of opportunity because you're leaving a threatened square, but he has no interest in attacking you.
And I'll use my second wind.
All righty.
Okay.
All right, Lachlan. Now it is Evil's turn, and Evil retreats. So you hear clippity clop of the violinist running away, and then you hear clippity clop up on the roof somehow, as though he teleported or flew. And then the side of the carriage door goes slam, and it shuts. And let's see, who do we have here? Figure Jig Morocon. He shifts one square away from you, and he takes the run action and runs around the building.
Run
and
away.
There he goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. He runs around the side of the building and takes up. And as
I don't
he
get
runs
an attack
away,
of opportunity at all.
No, he shifted first with his first move, and with his standard action, he ran. So he disengaged. Conabar is dead. Figure Jig and Tottletap are dead. And Maestro Oseen has fled the scene. Okay. And the green man's carriage lights down on the roof again. And he goes, "Oh, well done, mortals. Huzzah and hooray. Truly, thy valor instills hope in a heavy heart. As I have attempted thy life without provocation and come unbidden to this plane, by the laws of fairy hospitality, ye mayest ask of me a boon."
Can you slay the piper for us?
He said, "I would not commit treason, not for thee, not against my lord.
What about a
Do
pot
not
of gold?
No.
If gold is your desire, thus may I provide."
We need to free our friend here from his blood pact so that he doesn't turn into a red cat.
Okay, just as you say that, ironically, Anduriel, you feel a horrible pain go cracking across your spine. And the rest of you watch Anduriel writhe in agony for a brief second. And Anduriel, you shrink down to a small creature size.
Eep.
Your armor is enchanted, and therefore it magically shifts to meet your size. However, your boots no longer fit, and the Leviathan's tooth is now a two-handed weapon for you, just about. You're not tiny, but you are small. You are now the size of a halfling, and you have a slightly hunched over form.
What in the name of shadow is this?
And it's pretty horrifying to watch. You hear the crackle of bone. He still looks like Anduriel. He's just taken on a smaller, more hunched form.
Naylock, what is this?
All right. And he looks at you, Anduriel, the green man, and he says, "And none too soon, I see. Therefore, very well." And he looks to you, Lachlan, and he says, "Is it thy will, then, that I should bear thee and thy companions thence to my lord?"
You can't end the pact?
"Such is not within my power. However, my lord can certainly reverse what has been wrought within thy companion. And his other curse as well, should he so choose."
That is why we came here.
All right, he looks at you and he raises his a delicately green-gloved finger and he says, "However, have a care, for thy flippant tongue will be punished severely by my lord. Fae, manners, and hospitality are everything to my people. I would warn thee to show respect."
I turn and look at Gizik and then raise an eyebrow, like,
All right, he looks around at all of you and he says, "Ye are all In agreeance, then, shall I bear thee thence to my lord?
Yes.
His-
It's time.
yes.
Yes.
All right, so the fairy, he cracks his whip, and the fairy dragons pull this emerald jade green carriage down, and he lands in the street gently in front of you, and he opens the door to the carriage, or rather, all he does is point down with his whip, and the carriage door opens on its own. There is no sign of Maestro Oisin, who
I was
went
going
in
to say,
there.
we don't see them, do we?
No, you do not.
That's unfortunate. Okay.
However, he was invisible, so maybe you'll run into it. Maybe it'll get squishy. Okay.
Do you have time to raid any corpses that are laying around?
yeah. Can we?
You are welcome to, if you so choose to.
Yeah, I'd
okay.
like to take a gander.
On their furry bodies, on the 2 dead Chorids, you find dirty fur and a wineskin. Both of them have on a leather thong that was around their midsection.
I'll leave these for Gizik.
It smells really. It smells really bad, by the way, and both of them stink of wine.
Gizik, I have something for you.
Or the one that's dead. On the leprechaun, you found a little pouch of gold.
Oh, yoink. My little stubby hobbit fingers are quick
Okay.
to snatch that up.
You are more than welcome to count that now or later.
I'll forget. So maybe now.
Okay. All right. If you count it now, you find a pouch full of about 100 gold coins.
Yes.
They're small. They're not Adari-sized coins. They're fairy coins, but about what it comes out to in value.
Cool.
Okay. So you grab a little. So the tiny little punched Anduriel runs over. He's like, coins. Like, grabs the coins off the leprechaun, and then do you get into the carriage?
I certainly do.
All right, so you enter into the carriage, and the interior seems to be much larger than it appears from the outside. It has red velvet cushions on the backs and also on the seats, and the interior looks to be made of gold, or at least gold filigree over wood. It's quite nice, but that's all you find in there, and he gestures, and the door closes behind you. And as you step into the carriage, there's sound of his bracking, and the carriage launches into the skies over Horta. From the open windows, from the skies, you can see the 3 structures that are dominating the ground below: the halls of protection, the Vanguard Fortress, and the tower of the Night Order known as the Sky Wardens off in the distance. The carriage thunders across the sky as though the green crystal wheels were cracking over wood over stone. You find yourselves having left the city behind and hurtling towards the ruins of an old well along the coastline. And you expect, based on the size of the well, that the carriage is just going to smash into the stones and be wrecked. But as you approach, somehow either the well begins to loom large enough to admit the vessel, or the vessel itself shrinks. But you emerge on the other side of the well into the air, into the Feywild through that Fey crossing. And he tells you a few things that we will get into next week, and that is where we will leave it.
We're in the Feywild, guys.
Yay, I guess.
Congratulations.
Oh, boy.
We've had some good times there.
Morokhan's going to say, ooh, the Feywild, I've never been here.
Oh, congratulations, because here you go.
Well, you made it, big guy.
Here. And you can stay. They will invite you to stay as long as you like.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Very good. Consider this, or since this is the December and the Christmas season, our moment with Christ will be Anduriel tonight, or JT, excuse me. I don't want to hear Angel's inspirational message.
You don't want to hear from him right now. He's in a bad way. No, so as I was thinking about this, one of the things that came to mind is one of my favorite stories from the Savior's life, when he was with the woman who was taken in adultery, and there were those who were trying to accuse her, and they were trying to trick him. And there's several lessons that only he could teach the way he taught them. And the first one was when he said, let he among you who is without sin cast the first stone, because that was the punishment for what her crime. And nobody could say they were without sin. And so that's, for me, it was like, and he goes on to say, as everyone walks away because they know that they can't condemn her because they themselves aren't sinless, he asked the woman, where are your accusers? Does anyone condemn you? And she said, no, no man, Lord. And he says, neither do I condemn thee. A power that only he has to be able to forgive us, forgive everyone for their sins. And so not judging her because of that. He still loved her. He forgave her. Sometimes people forget about the second part. He said, go thy way and sin no more. While forgiving her, while loving her, he also inspires us and directs us to be better than we are, and makes it possible for us to actually be better. So we don't have to continue to make the same mistakes or to feel the same way. There's a way to become more than we are, and it's through him. And I really love that example and that story, because again, it shows forgiveness, not judging, but also becoming better through him. If you're going to follow him, he'll take you as you are, but you're going to change in that process, and that's a good thing. And so that's kind of what I wanted to share, was it's just that message that comes from him, especially at this time of year.
Awesome. Any other thoughts to go with that, gentlemen? Okay, awesome. Very well said. Thank you very much. And that's a good positive note to end on. Let's all be our best selves and be the better person. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Adios.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.